Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today a video that I finally am getting around to uploading, and it is sent to us by Grass Knuckles. He has taken his Captain Britain all the way up to rank 4. He did it using Evizone. That is also the best way you can submit your own gameplay should you choose to reach out to me via Evizone. All the links in the video description. They are an amazing messaging and data transfer service. Excellent and dare I say perfect for these clip transfers if you want the gameplay to be featured on my channel, or you can just reach out to me via Evizone as well. He does have a YouTube channel of his own. I will leave a link to his YouTube channel in the video description, and let's get into it, shall we? So Captain Britain obviously has gotten a bit of slacking from the player base, and she is far from the most popular character. But as I said, this year we haven't had a single truly bad character, and that also applies for Captain Britain. She definitely will not be everybody's acquired taste, but she can be capable in her scenarios, and especially if you are somebody who enjoys Captain Britain, then I do sincerely believe that you can get quite a bit out of her, and this is one of those kind of like poster matchups for her in a meta that extremely favors her. So Kingpin is a great matchup because she does ramp up her prowesses significantly quicker against Shrug of Champions, and on top of it, obviously Rich Get Richer is extremely compatible meta for her, as she does manage to gain like several different buffs. I think she can gain like 3 or 4 different ones. So in majority of the time she will be the champion gaining power. Now here we go with another Kingpin takedown. This could be slightly different meta. I do not remember whether all of them are in the same ones, but the entire point with Captain Britain in pretty much every fight is you want to build up to your level 1 as quickly as possible and throw it. That enters your psionic mode, which gives you also energized buff, but most importantly it lets you inflict debuffs on the opponent in form of slow, exhaustion, and also weakness, pending what combos you hit. With a regular 5-hit combo you can inflict both slow and exhaustion, I believe, and then heavy attacks inflict weakness, and then whenever you throw your next special attack, those debuffs get purified, and whenever debuffs are purified on the opponent, you gain prowess effects, and then additional ones, as we can see, cruelties and furies, and that is how she ramps up as quickly as she does here. So let's move on to the next matchup, and this is going to be Mole Man here. So Mole Man is another skill shrugger, and it is quite important because in today's meta, skill champions in Battlegrounds are quite often present, especially Kingpin. So is Mole Man, so are a handful of others, and then we obviously need to talk also about Korg, that she deals with excellently well too. Now here we do have a slight slip up, but that's quite okay because exhaustion does lower the critical damage, so she is quite tanky in situations like this. And here we can see her building up, and we do have the psionic mode active yet again, and at this point I assume a level 2 will do the job. She does have basically no base crit rate on her regular hits, but she does benefit from precision mastery, and with that she can crit on her base hits, just not too often. However, she has incredibly high crit rate on her special attacks, which are the main source of damage here. So let's check out. So this looks to be Act 7 or Act 8 fight. I can't tell from the initial glance, but we do have the superiority node here active, and also tenacity. So tenacity again is an excellent node for use of Captain Britain, because every time the opponent is shrugging off your debuffs, you do gain those prowess. And here we can see that by the time he got to his first level 1, he already had 5, but now that he has entered psionic mode, the prowesses are building significantly quicker because you place debuffs like nobody's business with your base combos, with your heavy attacks, with everything else. And now as he has built up to his level 2, he already has 15 prowess effects here, and the damage goes boom. So we can see definitely some quite nice and good looking yellow numbers there. Also the level 2 has plenty of hits on it. So that is Act 7 fight in less than 40 seconds. Not too bad. Let's move on to the next clip here. Turn to your pain, Nick Fury. This also could be quite interesting. We all, well, most of us who are Thronebreaker and Paragon do remember this fight. And he makes a comment that he's kind of like slow playing this one, which is, you know, fair enough, as in like he's focusing on the build up for Second Life, because Second Life is harder and is trickier. And obviously you do need to keep in mind all of Nick Fury's nodes, because this particular challenge here was when you have any debuff active on yourself, Nick Fury doesn't lose power when using special attacks, basically. So you do want to make sure that you keep an eye on that, because every time you parry, you do get a disorient, and when you do hit Nick Fury's block, you have a chance to get a small bleed placed on you. But at the time he is slowly building up Captain Britain, he does need to bait out that level 2, and Nick is being somewhat resilient to that. But now he has the power lock active, so he can go aggressive in this fight. He's going to drop his heavy attack to get the weakness, and then he needs to drop a full 5-hit combo, ideally, in order to get the other 2 debuffs, then convert them. Now he has 5 prowess active here, and he can push on Nick Fury to level 2 of his own. And whilst he has debuffs on him, obviously Nick Fury didn't lose power using that special attack, but it's not too bad, because you get an opportunity to get those burnout charges on Nick Fury quicker. Now at this point, and he's still working on the build-up. Again, he does have those disorients on him, so he will have to wait a bit. Now he has purified them, and now when Nick Fury uses his special attack, he will lose the power, but he is up to 8 prowesses now, so it is again not the quickest start. But Captain Britain is definitely a ramp-up champion. So if you remember doing this fight with Proxima, for instance, then you'll know that, you know, once you do get your build-up done, the fight finishes pretty much in just a moment. And now already you can see that he does have his Fury active. He has 11 prowess. He goes for double Fury. That block damage is quite intense here, but luckily there also Unstoppable can come into play in order to get easier openings, I would say. And here's an unfortunate timing of a level 1, and that pushes him unblockable, so he quickly has to get him up to 2 bars of power. But I do think that at this point we are slowly approaching the crescendo of this fight, because here we can see that Captain Britain is at 16 prowess now, and as soon as he starts throwing his level 2s, the fight is going to finish extremely quickly, because Captain Britain with like a Fury buff, a handful of cruelties, and 16 prowess, those are going to be extremely potent special attacks, as I am 100% certain we are going to get to see. If you do want to see more Captain Britain gameplay, or just check out Grass channel in general, again, do not forget to check out the link in the video description. And here he goes for the level 2, and the final hit does 30+ damage already, and obviously, you know, it is only going to increase as the fight continues, as he gets even more prowess, because they do basically grow naturally. And he only had 2 cruelties at the point of using this special attack with no Fury effect. So if he had the Fury active, then he would be doing even more damage right there. Now Nick Fury is about to enter his second life here, purifying that debuff that he had on, that's giving additional prowess to Captain Britain. And now obviously, you know, his degen is doing a significant amount of work, lowering his health until he reaches 30% health, and then it's going to be on Captain Britain to finish the fight out as quickly as possible. At this point we have 21 prowess. He does not get the best crit RNG in this fight. I must note that typically about 4 out of 5 hits in her special attack crit, but I think in both instances that we had seen special 2 in this fight, he did not get overly lucky with it. At the same time, we have Nick Fury at 28%. Captain Britain does have 21 prowess now, and it does seem that the next level 2 could very well be the final one. But let's see what happens here. He does bait out that level 2 from Nick Fury before going all aggro. That doesn't quite finish. He has 12% left here. But he also is in his psionic mode, where you do get to do some extra damage on your basic hits in the form of physical burst damage. And he tanks down that level 1 in his block like a champ. And now he just needs to go in for the final level 2 that is definitely going to be overkill. So that's a very solid Nick Fury takedown right there. Let's go on to the next clip that we can see here. This is, I think this is the casual test dummy Deadpool from Act 6.31 or 6.41. So let's see how she goes in a fairly default standard fight duration. And she, again, basically everything starts when you drop your initial level 1. Then once that's active, you can inflict up to 3 different debuffs on your opponent. And you can basically start gaining prowess effects. So again, here he goes to replace those 2 debuffs. Lands his heavy attack first hit, changes it into a special attack, and we can see that that delivers very significant amount of damage, and most importantly gives him a Fury, Cruelty, Unstoppable, and 3 prowess effects. Now he goes for another level 1 in order to be able to start stacking more debuffs on the opponent. And here Deadpool's regen does kick in. And he goes for a heavy to inflict the 3rd debuff. And thanks to Energize, he's already up to level 2, which again is going to be definitely an overkill in a situation like that. It's a fairly straightforward fight plan, if you know what you're doing. And this is looking like a Realm of Legends Storm fight. So let's see how this one works out. Recording does seem to slow down a little bit there. I don't know what exactly happened, but we are back on track. No, wait, that is not Realm of Legends. What am I talking about? It's a 6-star Storm. Realm of Legends does not hit that hard, but it's okay. We have Storm with 9 prowess effects, and we have Captain Britain with 5. So this is going to be the fight of prowess effects there. So here he did get quite lucky that the Storm didn't punish after the first hit of the heavy attack. And we do have some sort of tenacity working on this note. So we can definitely see the treble sticking that parry. As I said, I do think Captain Britain would be significantly more popular champion had she been given a handful of extra abilities, such as a passive stand in her base when her parries get purified, for instance. That would definitely have helped Captain Britain tremendously. Now he does end up, unfortunately, taking even more hits on the block, but he's still alive, in it kicking, and he has 19 prowess effects active to a point where his level 1 crit is 28k. And then Storm is getting clapped in the cheeks just a tiny bit. So next fight, we're back to Battlegrounds. So we have Nick Fury. Now this is definitely one of those standard fights where you do want to see how well your mutant does against the Nick Fury, because there are some champions that will do absolutely excellent, like Kitty Pryde, like Toad. They are both crazily good Nick Fury counters, but most importantly, Nick Fury is a champion that you will see in Battlegrounds a lot unless you ban him, because he's like one of the default standard defenders in the game mode. So it's going to be interesting to see the time of this fight and how well Captain Britain does. So we have another level 1 here that he's building up, using that Unstoppable to gain an easy opening and easy intercept. This is Rich Get Richer met as well. That definitely is helping out Captain Britain, similarly in the case like we saw with Valkyrie, for instance, because all that extra power gain just means that she can ramp up significantly faster. As you can see in this case, that Nick Fury's first life is already down here now. And he has 5 prowess effects, and one of the good things in this matchup that I can see and spot immediately is the fact that Captain Britain can get easy openings against Nick Fury thanks to that Unstoppable in a similar way like you would utilize on a Juggernaut. And now we have 4% left, and it is quite a solid time. 81 seconds, Nick Fury. It's not too bad, especially with 94% health remaining. Let's see what is going to be the next matchup here. We have Night Thrasher with one of the weapon nodes and Persistent Pressure. Now, the cool thing about Captain Britain is that she has multitudes of ways how to deal with Persistent Pressure node, because she can have slow placed on her opponent, and that will flat out just prevent the Unstoppable from triggering as soon as she has entered the psionic mode. And if you do not try to ramp up damage heavily, then definitely just activating that slow that's easily accessible in base combo is going to be extremely helpful. But at the same time, you can keep ramping up Captain Britain, and as soon as you get to 10 prowess effects, that the unstoppable duration basically is reduced to 0. So as soon as she will reach 10 unstoppables, 10 prowess effects, the unstoppable will not function in this fight anymore, even if there is no slow effect. So any prowess effect that she gets does reduce the duration of that unstoppable, and obviously then we do have the slow effect. Now both champions go unstoppable briefly, but she is all the way up to 6, and now he goes for a big level 2, which is weapon node. Does quite a lot of damage. No, that was a level 1. That was 160k level 1 there, because that was the weapon node that enhances your special 1 damage, as we saw in Act 8.1, I believe. And now we have Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, which again is one of those champions that Captain Britain does do well against because of Daredevil Hell's Kitchen ability to purify debuffs. I do think this is one of the boss fights where basically you do no damage until you knock him down, and then all the damage you have done to Daredevil basically gets delivered as one big burst. Or if he knocks you down, then you effectively get all that damage reflected back on you. So it is going to be very interesting to see how this fight finishes. Well, when I say interesting, is we're probably going to see quite a big burst red number instead of the typical yellow numbers from Captain Britain. And here we go. We are all the way up to 8 prowess. So again, that pressure node has the unstoppable duration quite significantly reduced now. At this point, 10 prowess, and the unstoppable is not a factor anymore, as you are about to see in just a second. And that was 400,000 damage there on the Daredevil with that special attack knockdown. And I reckon another special attack likely is going to be enough, because obviously you just, well, I mean another level 2, because he just keeps on building up prowess effects. At this point he has a Fury, Cruelty, and 16, 17 prowess effects. So just needs to get in some more debuffs there. 20 prowess effects. And I really do want to see how much damage is going to be in this knockdown here. So let's let him drop that level 2. Sweet. As you can see, 0 damage being dealt in regular means. And here we have 357k, basically, with the drop of that level 2. See, this is a Smorgasbord Blackpool boss, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is a Smorgasbord Blackpool. But basically, he's immune to debuffs, kind of. He purifies all the debuffs placed on him, and you do persistently need to place like 10 debuffs within every 20 seconds, or he gets like a massive regen. Or if you place enough debuffs, then he gets somewhat of a degen. So I do imagine that in this particular fight, Captain Britain is one of the best champions, because you will be getting an incredible amount of prowess effects. Just stay in your psionic mode and just hit Blackpool. You'll be getting more and more prowess, and you can use your unstoppable to find openings. Now he goes for level 2, which does, meaningful amount of damage already, but he does need to rush back to his own special in order to re-enter psionic mode, and in order to be able to place those debuffs in time. Otherwise that regen is going to be nasty. Here he can use the unstoppable again to gain a very easy opening. Let's see how he does here. Drops a heavy attack, why not? He did get the 10 debuffs placed, so at the moment he's at 21 prowess effects, 22 prowess effects. Let's see, if I was him, I think I would just keep hitting my regular combos in order to get through there, but that special attack damage is quite gnarly here. That Deadpool is going down and quite quickly, and that regen is not helping too much either, especially considering that at the moment we do have 2 Furies, 4 Cruelties, and 25 prowess effects. The amount of prowess is gonna go up and up as well, as long as he enters the psionic mode. The degen's obviously doing the degen things. Drops a heavy attack there. He just needs to get to his level 2, which he does, and that finishes the fight out. And the very final clip that I have to share with you is rank 4 Captain Britain Mall 7.33 Stealth Suit Spidey that is with evasive maneuvers and foresight node active. So the title says Malls Stealth Suit Spidey, so I do expect a quick fight. And let's see how it works out. So it is the evasive maneuvers node where they start evading when you knock them down, or more specifically, they gain a guaranteed evade charge, which is fine. There is also tenacity involved, which is quite annoying. So now he has to work with double evade here from Stealth Suit Spider-Man's own abilities. At top, obviously, the node evade. But he has 2 prowess effects at this point, so, you know, there's not going to be that much damage going in if he does drop a special attack. And that's because he had to be slow and careful building this up. But now he can, because tenacity is going to be doing a lot of work for him as long as he manages to, keep an eye out for that evade. He's definitely getting to shrug off all of those slows as well. And there, that was a bit misplaced heavy attack, but it all works out, so it's all good. And now he has 10 prowess effects already, all of a sudden, thanks to tenacity. But come on, we need to see that mauling. We need to see that mauling. There is a foresight, so I think he's trying to get in an intercept now to finish off the fight. He does get the 200% fury, and that is not bad level 2 at all, and he only is going to hit stronger. Now there are some tactical punches to the face in order to get power quicker and be ready to throw your special attack. Exactly. Everything's part of the plan. And now he does have the foresight fury as well. Unfortunately, that goes away quite quickly, but we do have 14 prowess effects. And that Stealth Suit Spidey is about to get wrecked with that next special, and that is it. He goes down. So that has been Captain Britain. I do think it was quite important to upload this video, because Captain Britain might not be the shiniest and most popular champion, but this is definitely a very great testament of the fact that every single champion released in 2022 has something going for them. And if you like them, that's perfect. Rank them, because every single champion released this year has areas of the game, matchups that they can shine in, some nodes they will work great on. And I'm sure that if you dedicate your time and energy to learn these champions, you will be rewarded for that. So huge thank you to Grass. Again, check out his channel and also check out Evizone. All the links in the video description. I am going to catch you guys next time. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next